Lucas needs to sign up.
Lucas can kill a few things. Hey guys, can we bring it in a little bit? We're going to pray, and I want us to get close to each other in a platonic sort of way. Unless you're married. Let me pray. God, I thank you so much for today. I thank you for who you are. I thank you for what you've done in Jesus Christ. I thank you that during this time of the year, I know we're always focused on you when we're in the right mind. But this week and next week, there's just an added focus that we have on the resurrection of your Son. And so I just pray that today and next Sunday that we would be all in, focused, and when people look at us, they would see a different mentality on us that's attractive. God, I love you. I trust you. Use this time. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. That's it. I've been thinking about a couple different things. I always try to have something fresh on mind because God's always moving. His mercies are new every morning, right? So why would I relive old mercies if I get them every morning? So I've been thinking through a bunch of different things. And I don't know if you knew this yet, but 3 of our staff members, Jordan, Natalie, and who's the other one? I'm just kidding. Daniel, they're all sick this morning. So I woke up and found all that out, and we come in here, and I was just thinking through different things, and I got a question for you. When you're operating in your regular days, when you are going about your business, if you will, when is it, you don't have to answer, but when is it that people are most likely to ask you questions? You don't have to answer, but I was thinking through when people ask me questions. They ask me questions when I look a little disappointed or distracted about something. They ask me questions when I'm doing something really stupid. What's up with you? Why are you doing that? They ask me questions when something is different, right? In your lives, you'll think about the times when people ask you questions. They ask you questions when things are different. Yeah, when they've got their agenda, they need to ask you different questions. But when people are asking you, like, how are you doing? Like, what's up with you? When they ask you personality questions, it's always because there's something different than usual. And I was thinking about the fact that it's Palm Sunday, and what's important about Palm Sunday is Jesus entered Jerusalem a week before he died on the cross and forgave us of our sins, and then was resurrected 3 days later. Palm Sunday is important because that's when it became clear to maybe a few of his disciples, to people, that Jesus was different. And so Jesus gives the disciples an assignment when he walks in. You guys may be familiar with this. It's half the reason we call it Palm Sunday. But I'll just start in verse 1, Mark chapter 11. It says, as they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 of his disciples, saying to them, go to the village ahead of you, and just as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there, which no one else has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. Now here's where I'm going to hone in a little bit. If anyone asks you, why are you doing this? Say the Lord needs it, and we'll send it back here shortly. Now put yourself in the perspective of a disciple. And you're walking into Jerusalem, and Jesus says, hey, I need you to go into this village over here and find a donkey that's tied up, doesn't look like it's been ridden. I need you to untie it. And if anyone asks, you with me, right? If anyone, who's not going to ask? There's an untended donkey standing there, and you're walking up, some random people, not hanging out, you're not living in the village, and you start untying it. If there are people around, they're going to ask, right? Because they're untying a donkey that's not theirs. Because what they are doing, what Jesus has assigned them to do, is different. Now here's my question for all of us. This is a radical task. It looks like a basic task, but it's a radical task that Jesus asked them to do. And it said, if anyone asks you, say Jesus has need of it. Or the Lord has need of it, to be specific. How about you? Are people asking you questions? Are you living lives in such a way that it's radical enough for people to look at you and think, there's something different? Right. And so I wonder if each one of us this week, if we would go out with this assignment, with this understanding, that what I'm doing, the way that I operate, is so radical that if anyone asks me, right? Is someone asking you anything for one? And if they ask you, what's your answer to them? Because we're never going to tell them that the Lord needs us for anything if they don't ask us, if we're not doing anything different. Yeah. We're not doing anything different. Yeah. I mean, here are a bunch of questions that people have asked me over the past couple of weeks. Why do you have a 6 o'clock call time for people on Easter? That's a question. It's a little crazy. It's different. got to be all in for that stuff. And if your family asks you, hey, why are you going in at 6 a.m. on Easter? It's a family weekend. The Lord has need of what I bring to the table.
That's right.
What about the fact that you're here this week and you're going to have to be here next week? What is so radical in your life? What is so radical about your love for Jesus that people are going to ask you and you're going to be able to respond? The Lord has need of what I bring to the table. And I know it's a basic thing, but I think we're people, and I know you guys are awesome. You're serving week in, week out, but I struggle with this weekly, right? I'm a person that in my normal state, people aren't asking me questions because my normal state isn't my radical faith. And so I know this may seem a little intense, a little frustrating, but what aspects of your faith are radical enough for people to ask you a question? And yeah, you can go to them and say, hey, the Lord loves you. You're going to go to hell if you don't trust in Jesus. See, a lot of us are trying to go and just tell people what they need, but there's not anything different about us that's attractive enough for them to listen to what we have to say.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But if we lived differently, if we were radical enough to not just get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, but radical enough to wake up every morning, spend time with the Lord.
That's right.
Radical enough to ask our family questions. Radical enough to talk to our friends about what we believe and why we operate a particular way. Why we're having the hop even though it's going to rain.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Well, the Lord has need of us. That's why we're doing it. I hope that's a little flip, a little perspective for you, because that donkey, that colt, that situation, it was different. I'm not saying to go steal stuff. That's not cool. But how different do you operate? Are you the same as your friends? When you decided you were going to leave the things of the world and come to the things of God, did you actually leave the world? Or do your friends see nothing different?
Yeah.
There's nothing attractive about something that's not any different. I'm attracted to the things that I don't necessarily have a part of me. So that's my encouragement. I know it's basic, but sometimes it's those basic things that help us take steps forward in our faith. It's basic, guys. Yeah, let's put our hands down.